In this video, I combined two different LEGO Ninjago sets to make a giant fire dragon mech. This is Kai. He's the original main character of Ninjago and the Master of Fire. But right now, it seems like Kai is feeling a little left out from the rest of the team, and let me tell you why. You see, Kai is still one of the most popular characters in the Ninjago franchise, and probably still gets more LEGO sets themed around him than anybody else. We have gotten a new Kai mech every single year for the past 3 years, and a new fire dragon every year for the past 4. And that's not even counting the numerous other types of sets all throughout. However, despite all of this, there is one collection that Kai is notably missing from. In 2019, LEGO released Lloyd's Titan mech, a massive mech for Lloyd unlike anything we've ever seen. Then in 2021, we had Zane's Titan mech in a similar style and scale. 2023 gave us a Titan mech for Jay, and most recently this year in 2024, we got one for Cole. There was also the Samurai X mech for Nia in 2022, which is debated whether or not it should be included in this collection, because it is built in the same scale and style, but it's not actually called a Titan mech, and it doesn't use white as a part of the color scheme like all of the others do. In an interview with some of the designers, they once told me that internally they consider it a part of the same line, so for me personally, I do count it, which means that Kai is the only one of the original Ninja left without a Titan mech. Now, he did get the Climber mech this year, which is a somewhat large mech, but it really doesn't scale to the same extent with the others, and is fairly different in style, more similar to Lloyd's Ninja Team mech from the previous year. There was also the Firestone mech in 2020, which is in the Titan mech scale, but it was for both Cole and Kai to share, and now that Cole's gotten his own Titan mech, it indicates to me that the Firestone doesn't count. Now, people in the comments have been asking me to make a Kai Titan mech for years, but I'm gonna be honest, I was worried I couldn't do it. I'm not the most experienced builder in the world, and every single Titan mech is just such a masterpiece. I felt like whatever I created just wouldn't be able to compare. However, earlier this year, I did set a goal for myself to create a custom build using every single Ninjago set released this year, and I was looking at the Cole Titan mech thinking about what to do with it, and then I had an idea. Building a Titan mech from scratch would be very difficult, so what if instead I just modified Cole's to be for Kai? It wouldn't be as unique as the other mechs, but it could make for a good stand-in until an official Kai's Titan mech was released. As an extra bit of a challenge too, I could try only using the parts from the Source Dragon of Motion set, which is a giant fire dragon, to modify the Cole mech to have it themed around Kai, while also crossing another set off my list and cheering Kai up so that he wouldn't feel left out. So I went to the LEGO store and bought one extra copy of both of these sets for my build. And yes, I did actually go to the store. These aren't the ones in the mystery box I opened last week. Those are still sealed and being saved for something in the future. I started by building up Cole's mech in its entirety, and while it was fun having two identical giant mechs, just like with the Firestone mech, it was time for Cole to share with his teammate. I took one of the two mechs and split it into 7 parts. The torso, the head, the right and left legs, the right and left arms, and the wings at the back. And then, only using the pieces from the Source Dragon of Motion, I began modifying these parts one by one. Starting with the torso, Cole's mech has this super cool like elemental energy core in the middle, and I wanted to keep that, so I modified it to use the dragon's jaws. I've seen other mock builders do similar, and I always thought it looked super cool, so I wanted to try it out myself, and luckily, transparent orange parts work for both earth and fire. I actually included quite a few trans orange pieces throughout the entire build to really make sure that the elemental energy is being represented. Coming to the legs, the upper legs were basically entirely redesigned when it comes to the texturing on the outside, removing any like earth colored pieces and replacing them with dark red and normal red. Since these parts all come from a dragon originally, they seem a lot smoother and less robotic than the parts on the original Cole mech, which helps to differentiate the look. For the lower legs, the actual legs stayed mostly the same, with the knee pads being changed up. Again, the new design is less angular, and I included the dragon scale stickers to add some more detail. I left the white parts of the mech mostly as is, because white is a color that all of the Titan mechs, except for Nia, use, so I wanted to also keep it here. A good chunk of the orange from Cole's original mech remains in this build too, especially in this section, because while I tried to remove as much as I could, unfortunately I was only working with so many parts. I didn't have like unlimited stock at my disposal. So when building, I tried to prioritize swapping out the most important orange parts while keeping the less obvious ones. Luckily, orange does still fit with Kai's color scheme and represents fire. I just wanted to make sure this mech was significantly distinct from the original Cole mech despite being based on it. I really love what I did with the feet. I tried to make them look rounded and sleek, with my favorite detail probably being the SCCBS armor that I fit in. Before I show you the next part of the build, I want to take a moment to thank this video's sponsor, the Curiosity Box. The Curiosity Box is a quarterly subscription box full of just like cool science stuff, like collectibles, toys, and whatnot. Honestly, I don't know how to describe what's in this because it's just a collection of different stuff every month. So let me open this up so we can take a look at what's actually inside this month's box. So this, I believe, is the fall box, so if you order now, this will be the one you get. Alright, let's take a look inside. This first item in here is called the Ambigram Escape, and if I open it up, you can see it's this little puzzle you have to solve with a coin inside. And this is meant to be like a rigged coin when you're doing a coin flip because it has an ambigram of heads and tails on it. So if you look at it from this side, it says heads. If you look at it from this side, it says tails. Either way, you win. Next up, there's a t-shirt in here. And this is the Uranus is a black hole t-shirt. The circle in here is the Schwarzschild radius of Uranus, and we got all the relevant calculations on the back. Next, I guess I'll grab this tin, which is the EDC multi-tool. This is a multi-tool with tons of different things to it, including the average pinky length, a roller at the bottom, a kangaroo safety gauge of all things, but then perhaps most importantly to this channel is this right here. That's actually a Lego attachment. It fits onto Lego studs perfectly if you want to like put this in your build. There is the body deck right here. I'm not gonna lie, these are kind of freaky to look at, but it's also really cool, like transparent playing cards, and they are actually functional. Though I guess if you shuffle the deck, it wouldn't be much of a surprise because you could see through the back. And all the other stuff's been very silly and fun, but there's lots of things actually quite cool from like a mathematical and scientific standpoint. This is the first 6 books of the Elements of Euclid, which apparently is the most used mathematical textbook in human history. But yeah, this is a very weird and wacky collection of stuff, but it's also a ton of fun. If you guys want to go check out the Curiosity Box for yourself, I'll have a link in the description. You can use code BricksByMind at checkout for 50% off your first box or $30 off an annual plan. Thank you very much to the Curiosity Box for sponsoring this video. This was a ton of fun, but now let's get back to the build. Moving up to the arms, I gave the shoulders a very similar shape to the Colmec, though slightly different to make them distinct. I like these curved pieces for detailing, as the original Colmec used stickers, which I did not have as much opportunity for in this build. The lower arms were mostly just a recolor on the sides, though the top had to be swapped out to replace a stickered part, and here I used another SCCBS armor piece, which again fit in perfectly. The hands stayed very similar with some color changes, though I swapped the fingers out for mech finger pieces and a claw for the thumb, as opposed to the robot arm pieces that Cole's mech used. For the head, I wanted it to look like it fit in with Cole's, but I didn't want it to just be a recolor. I added some orange lights to the side and a cheese slope at the top, and I kept weapons as the antenna, though replaced the long swords with these shorter katanas. And then, oh, wait, it seems like the mech has a message. Attention everyone, it's me, the mech. I just want to say, please like this video and subscribe to Bricks by Mind. You know, he does Alright, that's enough from you, Mech. We already had an ad read in this video, let's stay on track. Finally, for the main build of the mech, I wanted wings at the back, just like Cole's mech had. Since I was using the Source Dragon of Motion for parts, I felt like I had to include the wings from that set, and I tried a few different implementations, but this is what works best. And I used one of the larger SCCBS armor pieces to cover up this entire connection at the back. Oh, and there's also clips to hold Kai's accessories while he's piloting it. Going in, I wanted to build an entirely new weapon for the mech, but I realized that the wings pretty much used all the extra Technic pieces I had, so I decided to stick with the sword from the Cole mech that uses the Dune Ornithopter blade piece. However, I did add this red blade on the hilt to make it slightly different. And there we go, that is my final Kai's Titan Dragon mech. It maintains all of the posability of Cole's mech, which I'm very happy to say, because that is one of the mech's strongest suits. I'm honestly quite satisfied with this build, and it seems like Kai is too. He now has something to fit in with all the others, until he does inevitably get his own official Titan mech. The parts in these two sets fit surprisingly well together, which I'm glad to say, because I was a little bit worried about that going in. With this build complete, there's only a couple of more sets on my list, but there's also only a couple more months left in the year, so let me know in the comments if you guys have any ideas what I should do with these. If you want to see more custom build videos just like this one, you can go check out the full playlist in the description or in the pinned comment. Thank you again to the Curiosity Box for sponsoring this video, and I think that's all I've got. Thanks for watching everybody, I hope you all enjoyed, and I will see you in the next one. Bye!